Hey everyone, and welcome to another Marks & Crafts figurine review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Grandista Stone Free from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Now this is Jolene's stand from Jojo Part 6, and while I don't think Stone Free has as much of an iconic design or as much personality as, say, Star Platinum or Crazy Diamond, I still think it's a pretty good design and it matches sort of the theme of Jojo quite well, and I think that its power really helps make the sort of simple design look way better. And unfortunately this statue, from what I can see in the box, it's a very simple pose and just keeps the body as one piece. If it was like based on strings or something like that, the design would be way cooler. But if you pair it with the Grandista Jolene, which I intend to do, it will probably look way better. And so you can see quickly on the box, there's all different promo images on the side. This is a prize figure, so it's just a crane game prize in Japan, so it's a fairly inexpensive figure and mass-produced, so you shouldn't expect too many crazy things out of it, but Ben Presto have done good things in the past, and prize figures have been getting quite good as of late. But anyway, we'll open it up and have a better look at the figure. Okay, so out of the box, this is Stone Free, and it looks very, very sassy. And I think that has to do with the particular poses that they've chosen for this. And Jojo's always well known for its poses. Even simple ones usually have a lot of character and flair to them, and this is pretty much no different. It's almost multiple poses put in one, because the neck is going off in this way, the body's contorting this way, and then the legs are doing some other weird thing. And they're so weird that it requires a big hunk of plastic to hold it together, because this cannot stand on its own. And yeah, sculpt wise, pretty good. It seems like the anime pretty much just come to life. While we don't get a lot of really good looks at Stone Free, it's mainly always upper body and fists. From what I can see, it looks quite good. The face has some pretty good detail as well, which we'll just zoom in a bit. So you can see the face sculpt is pretty good, and while these are prize figures where everything is machine manufactured and painted, the lines are mostly quite clean and clear. The glasses are a little bit messy, like they're not perfectly lined up on the face. You can see it's more leaning off to this side, but because of that I did notice that they've sculpted in eyes, which is pretty cool. You could, in theory, remove the glasses, but I think they're glued in. But if you don't mind, you could probably snap them off and have Stone Free without the glasses. And it would be cool if they were semi-transparent, just to see that detail, because it is a bit of a shame. But otherwise, you can see the head looks like it's straight out of the anime. There's all these cool little string designs carved in. The texture, there's all these little bumps all over the body. There's these nicely done shoulder pads. The hands look quite good. They could have just a little more defined detail, because they do look like just a bit of a hunk of plastic and paint. The body shape is really nice. The sculpt in there is quite good as well. And the legs, I'll take off the block so you can see the pose of the legs a bit better. It is a very Jojo pose for the legs. It's a bit weird, and zooming out of the figure you can see it if it was clean without that big chunk of plastic. And it's a bit of a shame that it's hidden, but it is also an awkward pose. But generally the sculpt is quite good. See that same detail work continues all throughout the legs, and yeah, it's quite good. And one thing I don't like about these plastic chunks for bases is sometimes they click in, sometimes they don't. This is one of the ones where the legs are so far apart, it's more of a suggestion that it's holding together rather than actually holding together, which is a shame, and also why this figure is so wobbly. But it ensures that it doesn't fall over, so I guess it's fine. In terms of paint, again, it is all machine painted, so there are instances of really good paint and instances of really bad paint. The glasses in particular seem like they had a bit of overspraying. It's not super clean, it's not super bad either. Some of the line work of the greys aren't super clean. The gloss blue finish over the whole body looks quite good and reflects the light really nicely, and also imitates the art style of the anime quite well. I feel like the string bit, like grey bits, could have been detailed a bit better. There's a bit of overspray on the hands, like I went through just a bit. But otherwise, the blue finish is fine. The colouring on the knees is fine as well, and just the same around the rest of the figure. I feel like the blue block might have been better done as a clear piece, just so you don't hide the back leg. But it also might have been a complaint if I had the clear block as well. It's really hard to tell unless you had it otherwise, but just because it's the exact same shade as the rest of the figure's blue, it is quite lost in the silhouette of the figure, which is a bit of a shame. But the top half of the figure looks quite nice and stylish and pretty sassy. But I think the main reason why anyone would get this one is to pair it with Jolene, so let's do that now. So here we have Grandista Jolene and Grandista Stone Free. There is at least one more other type of this Jolene, which is the same sculpt but slight differences. The paint is different, and she's got a string coming off of her finger to symbolize the actual stand power. But this is the original release, which is sort of more anime accurate in terms of colors, whereas the other one was a bit more vibrant, like they do with some of the other Jojo figures, where they just change their colors just because they can. But this was the original release Jolene, and so far the original release Stone Free, but I don't think they'll do another Stone Free, but don't quote me on that. But you can see that they make a very good pair. The darker tones of Jolene really match with the brighter tones of Stone Free. Their colours complement each other, as well as their poses, just both being sassy in two different ways, but also being quite strong characters, very striking poses and designs. And they just match together so well. And you can also see that they are pretty much the exact same size. I would have liked them to do something similar for Stone Free's base to be Jolene's style base, because it's very simple and it isn't the best to look at, but I think it's better than the block that we've got here. But it gets the job done, and again, you're pretty much only going to be looking at the figures from sort of like the waist up, and it accomplishes what it sets out to do, no problem. But yeah, nothing too crazy. There's not much to talk about for this figure. I think I've already gotten as much as I can out of it. The only thing that would have been better is if we had like some slight string effects or something like that coming off of Stone Free, or slightly more detail work done in those particular areas. But that's all I can really say about it. It's a good figure, it matches the Jolene just fine, and the Grandista line in general is just a really good line. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.